Hello, and welcome to this presentation on using artificial intelligence for scientific research. We'll start with a disclaimer. Of course, all technologies can be used for bad ends as well as good, and this clearly applies to artificial intelligence in general. Acknowledging this, we focus here on how artificial intelligence can be used to accelerate beneficial scientific research, and specifically how ChatGPT and YouTube can be paired up to help answer challenging research questions. Here we will be using a real-world case study to demonstrate the use of these tools. The Ridges Sanctuary in Bailey's Harbor, Wisconsin has been conducting a ram's head lady slipper orchid restoration project since 2017. The project includes outplanting lab-germinated seedlings in 2 meter by 2 meter plots at various locations across the Ridges property. This video will use data collected at the Ridges on ram's head orchid plants to illustrate how ChatGPT and YouTube can help analyze this data. The features being measured on individual ram's head orchid plants are plant height, width of lowest leaf, length of lowest leaf, number of leaves, and the presence of a flower on a plant. Measurements on these features are being made on 19 plots of outplanted ram's head orchid seedlings and 6 colonies of naturally occurring ram's head orchids. Initial focus of our analysis of this data is on the naturally occurring colonies with the intent of creating baselines for evaluating the condition of our outplanted plots. Here, we focus on developing a means to measure year-to-year changes in plant measurements for each plot and plot-to-plot changes for each year. In this video, we will use ChatGPT and YouTube to develop a means of measuring year-to-year and plot-to-plot changes in plant measurements. So, what is ChatGPT? Well, let's ask ChatGPT what it is. The first thing to note is that ChatGPT doesn't know anything that has not already been entered as text onto the internet by humans. So ChatGPT doesn't so much as think as remember. The second thing is that the best way to interact with ChatGPT is to have an ongoing conversation with it, as we will see in this video. Here is a summarized list of responses that ChatGPT provided when asked what the most common applications of ChatGPT are. This is a nice list, but of these applications, only ChatGPT's outline of educational tools sounds a bit like scientific research, so it does seem like we are going to have to apply some strategies to get ChatGPT to focus on scientific research. If we ask ChatGPT how people use it to answer scientific research questions, ChatGPT responds with 5 suggestions on how it can be used for such an application. Here, we'll focus on using ChatGPT's idea generation capability. Specifically, we will ask ChatGPT to generate some ideas on how to develop a means of measuring year-to-year and plot-to-plot changes in ram's head orchid plant measurements. Now, a good place to start learning how to use ChatGPT is with a YouTube search. After watching a few videos, you will discover that a key to using ChatGPT effectively is to ask ChatGPT good questions, which is all about formulating good prompts. Here is a list of prompt elements loosely derived from recommendations by Jeff Sue that we will use here to ask ChatGPT how we should go about analyzing our ram's head orchid data. We will answer each question shown here as they apply to our case study, and then put these answers together as a question to ChatGPT. Here are some generic statements for the persona, tone, and format elements of our prompt that can help ChatGPT focus on recommendations that are generally applicable for scientific research. Note how pronouns are used to differentiate and clarify who is who in an interchange with ChatGPT. Getting down to the specifics of this case study, here is the context element of our dialogue with ChatGPT describing in general what kind of scientific research we are doing. And here is what we want ChatGPT to do for us. And here is an example of the type of results that we want the analysis process recommended by ChatGPT to produce. And here is the full request that we will submit to ChatGPT with the 6 prompt elements we just saw woven into it. Now, this prompt seems pretty long, but going to these lengths to formulate a good prompt is worth the effort. As we will see, we will be entering into an ongoing dialogue with ChatGPT, and by providing a detailed prompt, we won't need to keep reminding ChatGPT what it is that we are talking about. In essence, then, a detailed prompt can help ChatGPT stay on task. Just as importantly, generating a detailed prompt forces you to think through, clearly articulate, and record exactly what it is that you are trying to do. Without this level of explanation, it's real easy to go down the ChatGPT rabbit hole. ChatGPT responded to the prompt we just saw by recommending these 5 approaches that we could apply to our data. Let's look at the full response given by ChatGPT for its multivariate statistical analysis recommendation. Here is ChatGPT's full response for this recommendation. In the application section, we can see that ChatGPT has integrated the details of our particular case study into its recommendation, indicating that our detailed prompt has allowed ChatGPT to get an idea of what it is that we are trying to do. Recalling that ChatGPT is, in essence, a supercharged web search engine, this indicates that somewhere on the internet, people are using multivariate statistical analysis for applications such as ours. Since this form of analysis does seem to be a viable approach to our case study, let's follow up with some additional questions for ChatGPT. Here is our follow-up prompt with 5 specific MANOVA tools and techniques recommended by ChatGPT. Now, as requested, ChatGPT did provide a detailed explanation for each recommendation that we have not shown here for the sake of brevity, but we do need some clarification before pursuing a particular recommendation. Note that in our prompt, we did remind ChatGPT to answer our question with respect to our previous question, so we didn't need to add any detailed explanatory information in this prompt. That being noted, ChatGPT does keep track of your previous prompts, so if you do lose a discussion thread, you can always go back and pick it up where you left off, or start a new chat session. Note also that you can copy a ChatGPT response and then paste it into a document to keep a record of your discussion. Because we have a relatively small sample size for some plots and some years, we want to know which of ChatGPT's recommendations work best for this condition. Given this condition, ChatGPT recommends using Hotelling's t-squared test. At this point, you should be getting the impression that working with ChatGPT is like sitting in a room full of experts that you are, well, chatting with about your research. In its response to our latest question, ChatGPT notes that Hotelling's t-squared test assumes multivariate normality. We don't know what multivariate normality is, so we asked ChatGPT for an explanation, which ChatGPT provides, and even tells us how to assess multivariate normality. If we need to learn more about these statistical tests, we could ask ChatGPT to tell us more about them. But best to save these questions for a different ChatGPT session so that we don't lose our train of thought. Sticking with our train of thought, here is a summary of some specific example applications that we asked ChatGPT to provide. And here are 2 full responses. These responses give us increased confidence that this approach can be suitable for our application. Asking ChatGPT to tell us how to apply Hotelling's t-squared test does provide a response, but this explanation is beyond our comprehension. This illustrates how you may eventually encounter a limit to what ChatGPT can do for you. So this would be a good point to switch to YouTube for further direction. A YouTube search on Hotelling's t-squared test returns a number of potentially useful videos. After interviewing several videos, one in particular presents the material in a manner useful to us. While viewing this video, the presenter recommends first viewing his video on MANOVA. This video in turn recommends first viewing this video on primary component analysis. And this video recommends first viewing his video on linear discriminant analysis. So in all then, we have about an hour's worth of videos to watch in order to get a good understanding of how we could be analyzing our ram's head lady slipper orchid data. We also get the impression that perhaps we might consider someday taking this presenter's full course of 33 videos on multivariate statistics. So let's review what we did here. We used ChatGPT to generate recommendations on how to answer our research question, and then went to YouTube to get the details on exactly how to apply ChatGPT's #1 recommendation. We also saw the importance of formulating good prompts to keep ChatGPT focused on exactly what we want to accomplish. But before finishing up this presentation, it seems that perhaps we could skip the idea generation phase altogether and ask ChatGPT to go ahead and just analyze our data for us. Well, that could be a whole separate video, but what we should know by now is that we need a real good prompt to try that out. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully it has convinced you to stop worrying too much about artificial intelligence and to try using ChatGPT and YouTube to aid you in your scientific research.